Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Manicheans series here on the Lord Master channel, as my current aim is to turn this realm from a kingdom to an empire. And we're getting pretty close to that, but it's going to require a few more things. One, level of fame needs to go illustrious, and two, there's about two counties need to be taken. But unfortunately, it's going to be done one at a time. Because, you know, Khotan on the split was rather, silly and all that. But nevertheless, it's just we need to fight against them in order to take Uyghur and Vanna, which it will become the new capital of the future new Uyghur Khanate. Because yes, I do plan on leaving culture and willing to give away Jimsari and Beshbalik to someone else, while keeping these two baronies for myself for monetary income reasons. Right now, let's wait a good couple of months or so till we get up to 400, because the title creation for the Kingdom of Khotan requires 500. And when you do that, you gain foreign prestige and legitimacy. And one would think, once I create a title, why don't you just vassalize them? They'll be willing to, do that. Especially with the rightful liege part. But the man is ambitious. But I don't want that. I actually want the land for myself. So I prefer to conquer it. Conquer it whole. Yeah, it's gonna be a single county war anyhow. But not right now. Raise money first. That's your priority. And in the meantime, hold court, because sometimes I may gain gold out of this. My vassal, Merbo Courtiers, a young one before the assembly of the court. Glorious Idukutum, give my benevolent daughter Sarah in honor of seeing the arrangements of my household. She will not let you down. I suppose these jobs have to be done by somebody. Well, I don't have a seneschal currently, as far as my knowledge is concerned. Or it could be a royal architect. No need of architect because I'm not building any buildings. I didn't even get a look at your skills, but the app says average. You'll do. Oh, provincial merchant steps forward, clearly out of his element in my rich hall, so I beckon, come man, we don't have all day. Yes, my lady, he stammers. I'm Courtiers, representing the disgruntled traders and freemen of Yakata, Culture's greatest city. Boca, our mayor, has seen one too many winters and is losing energy dump demands. We humbly ask to be replaced by someone else. Perhaps I can replace you, because you have way more skills than the current mayor. But development growth for culture increases. Republican vassal tax contribution, so we don't have that many city buildings in my holdings anyhow. Or compensate. But that's for culture only. Yakata's election come early, so it'll be deposed, and then with a new, we'll get a new man and all that. Remarkably, does scroll done. Hurries my throne. Liege, I have a right to the Hill of Khotan, no matter what anyone else wants. We support my claim and have your vassal, Greatest of Khatuns, relinquish what does not belong to him. That's what Max say. We know where Axe is. That's over there. Han Manichean, and the other guy Buddhist. You must win it by the sword. They'll duel. He wins the duel. You don't get it. But you remain cupbearer and vassal of mine. At least I didn't have to spend much in the way of gold, so that's good. You're not a powerful vassal anymore. You'd be much better if someone else were to hold that title. Position. No hard feelings. Oh, that's a nomadic hunt. No, thank you. In 3 years' time, it'll be eligible to be looted again. Another perk, it'll be hit and run. If we ever lose a battle, we'll take less retreat losses, but more damage and toughness for different types of infantry. Check the offensive war opinion. Okay, it's almost gone. So in actuality, don't wait too long for a war. Then I guess we'll take Khotan next year. We'll start a war for Khotan next year, I should say. But I want you to remember, if you're going to be at war and you don't have siege weapons, you still do not have the ability nor the innovations to do so. Don't forget to hire those special mercenaries of these landless adventurers nearby. And every little bit gold via ransoming helps, but the only one I see is you. And the problem is that you are based way out there. Where are you? Okay, now you reside at Rome. Earlier you were over there. Now you're up there. Yeah, too long and too late. Well, that sort of thing. And also to make sure that nobody else has been already hired or at war. And keep in mind, it's also intervening in wars, so we would face very little opposition there. Remember, all we need is just one more kingdom title. Over the course of several months, the dynasties of my region are planning a grand foreign meeting, which of course I will be invited. I would expect to be deliver a speech and a conference explaining how to address matters of state while delving on my dynasty history and feats. I must, however, decide if the risk of delivering an uninspired speech is worth the hassle and I just let down everybody by staying mute. I do have excellent diplomacy, so it depends on. I do have high diplomacy. I do have high learning as well. I'm not shrewd, nor patient, not calm, not even gregarious, not even arrogant. Oh, I'll deliver it. See how this goes. At least it doesn't require monetary spending. When my turn to deliver the speech came, I was able to summon all my skills in order to explain a host of subject matters, always casting my dynasty in positive light. It was obvious for anyone present I commanded my words in a wise way to easily grow my own prestige as well as the renown of my dynasty. Impressive result! Oh yeah, now we're getting closer to illustrious now. Get to stop swaying now. This man's a bit of a troublemaker, and it's all because of distance. And wants your hand. You don't get it. You absolutely don't get it, man. It's this person who is... Well, I was about to say not hard to please, but could be pleased to drop the independence faction. Another reason why I did not want to start a war right away. Hopefully, as we have Prince Kubasar, who is a healthy child, which is excellent. Dynasty can continue. It wouldn't hurt to give me another child. But remember, there is always a danger of death by childbirth. Everybody's doing all kinds of schemes against me, but they're never going to get it. Do. That's the neighbor down there. A pretty big entity, too. Sure. You might be useful. Remember, fort level is 2 and fort level is 3. Just taking these objectives. in the upcoming conflict will be fairly easy, even without siege weapons, as our culture does not have that. In which, oh, actually, in 27 years' time, the current exposure, we will eventually get these. Finally, I'll be an old woman by that time when this is finished. All because the current culture head and this damn herd. Two more of these innovations, including the one I wanted the most, Ledger. We'll one day get these. In which I thought about the possible idea in future, like while we live in the upcoming capital of Khotan, that I thought of an idea where whenever we get a high enough prestige by doing all sorts of things, especially when you do a Majesty tour, what's the best way to get them, is why don't you convert the culture to Vamna, Saka, or even possibly Tokharian culture. Because the number of innovations... Oh, okay, actually Vamna will do, because they have way more innovations. And then you subsequently hybridize with our culture, so we don't lose our, our original heritage of being, Turkic and all that. Another son. Khotan. Sickly. I knew it was too good to be true. 2, 1. Damn! I don't know if that person wants Dong Huang, but I still desire these. And I would love to get the loot there when it becomes available again. But it'll be that for next March, so tell you what, we'll start the war later this year. And then we'll be on our way there. And we get all that loot so we could get some leftover gold after we create the title of Khotan. After I hold these lands for myself, even though I do know for a fact that he will not be pleased with me due to, declared war against them to conquer these lands. And it would require one more war to get Chokuka. And then finally, we get this. When you completely control actually you don't have to, because it says one of these must be true. It's just you needed one more town and that's it. And you'll have a illustrious level of fame by then. You just need a leftover money for the cost after it be spent like that. So you got to think ahead of time for such things. This is why it requires to be patient. I want you to start the war in October. It takes months to bring the men in arms over here, and a feast. That's not far from here. Sure, I'll be there. Because, I'm not leading troops right now. Don't have a caravan master right now. You'll do. Travel might be potentially dangerous, but I'll be headed over there. I suppose we're not expected to face any armies when we're over there, because they're still intervening in other people's wars, such as this one. But I can manage things from here. I'll still go to the feast. The Father of Greatness will judge these sinners. Yay. Oh, what the hell? You. Courtier entertainers just to get you out of there. The last thing that I would want is that to happen again. At least you'll be easier to be swayed. Who else is going to be at that feast, by the way? The guest list is pretty large. I mean, we're all traveling. Maybe there's an opportunity we can befriend one of them. And I would get them to stop. Parts of the road are best for they are covered with wooden planks. This is common in some places to make travel easier. However, it should be no surprise that this wood is oftentimes subject to theft, particularly in more rural areas. As so happened, we encountered a party of ruffians trying to take these wooden planks. They tried to make off with the wood as soon as we approached. Brave and just. So let's go in after him. 5% chance I'll become wounded. 93% chance I'll catch the thieves. And I'll increase the poverty opinion a bit. And 50 prestige. So, for historical context, medieval dirt roads were sometimes reinforced with wooden planks to assist travelers with movement. However, similar to stones from paved roads, they're oftentimes subject to theft. For instance, part of the 13th century French legal text, the Coutumes de Beauvaisis, discusses regulations for roads that mentions issues with people illegally stealing stones or wooden planks used for roads, which causes these roads to be narrower than expected. Caught them. Okay. Oh, so you're making me an honorable guest. Right, one of these faction members that are traveling to the feast, because everybody is, which is good. If you could befriend at least one of them, it ought to be this man. No need to cause mischief or just recreation, no. Befriend somebody to keep, because when you're friends with one of the vassals, they can never form a faction against you. A high altitude and a brisk air of Uyghur has very refreshing qualities which traverse the local hill fort. The soldiers in the valley below appear to be practicing some rare type of training technique I haven't seen before. I'm moving closer, failing to restrain my curiosity. While doing so, I'm approached by the local captain, Bogu. Would you like to join in, my lady? I'm always up for a challenge. I mean, I like to lead my armies. I'm a desert warrior and faithful blade, so I like to learn again. 80% chance I become an expert in rough terrain, or 20% chance I become reckless. Alright, you're a rough terrain expert. Spent little. As we travel through Bogu, I take in a beautiful view from the mountainside. When I steal my eyes away to focus back on the stony path ahead, realize we've been surrounded by a group of ruffians. A fearsome man, presumably their leader, steps in front of our caravan. Passing through these mountains will cost you. Don't care who you are. Anyone passing through my mountains pays. I'll not give in so easily. To battle. So, a prowess challenge against this man here. Who's got 15 prowess? I got 25. So, 85% chance I'll beat the bandits. So, me and my entourage travel freely through the mountains. I'll gain 20 gold and 25 prestige. 50% chance that the bandits beat me, and I'll lose 40 gold and get wounded. Beat the bastards. My son and heir, Kubasa, is an unusually calm child. When the others play their wild games, Kubasa often withdraws to some silent corner, He does not speak a lot, but I can tell he's always thinking about something. Wonder what's on his mind, as he's pensive. Come on in. Thank you. As I stand in my dining room warming my hands against the fire and lost in my thoughts, a known maid approaches me, tears in her eyes. After elaborate courtesy, looks me in the eye and says, "My Khatum, your sickly offspring, the beloved Khotan, didn't resist the illness that befell him and died some moments ago." Without any other words to say, she stands in front of me, tears flowing, waiting for my next command. My poor child. In the Dark Ages, death rates of infants was high indeed, as Khotan was born a sickly child. Unfortunately, death took him away. I had so many hopes for you, my sweetest child. All the things you would learn, experience, and do. There were so many possibilities, a whole life to live. Maybe you would have had children of your own one day, but now none of those things will ever come to be. Rest in peace, little Khotan. You got 18 months till you get these guys out of the faction. And at least try to befriend one of them. Servants run across the hall, bringing in the final decorations. Some of the guests are yet to arrive, and I indulge myself with a delicious drink by the fire. Oh, seems spotted some fresh quail already. I can't find Il Taba Choa anywhere yet. I can't wait for him to arrive, so my plan to befriend him can finally start. We have a lovely time ahead of us. Yeah, he's still on his way. He's at Woso. There he comes. He is here. Hang on. Do we have a jester still? Court jester? General opinion. You know, given someone to that position, would have a much lowered opinion of it, so you'll do, because you're a nice guy. But the aptitude is poor. Okay, someone with good aptitude then. Someone who I don't give a damn. And that'll be you. Need you to entertain courtiers for... I mean, the effects on the gesture is general opinion towards him, not to me, but... reduce stress. It's just what I was looking for is the effects on leads, not on just it. These reduce stress gain and all that. How do you not have bodyguards? Especially during this time. I'm looking. What are the those zealot vassals? How many do I have? There aren't any right now, so that's fine. Keep looking. How do I not have a weapon yet? Well, let's just hope that the feast goes well. As I'll try to befriend one of them to get him out of that faction. If not, I might as well hold my own feast to bring them over here. Every guest gathered in the Great Hall in our great South Bag of them as welcome us all to the feast. I look forward to this. Well, as one plate of food is placed by the next, my vassal the Vator goes on and on about court politics. And that's how we salvage that mess. I'm sure not boring you, my lady. Why don't we talk more about you instead? Grow closer to forming a friendship with him. And more importantly, get his opinion increased towards me. Higher opinion, a better chance to get the man out. It's taken much evening to get myself close to it, but without making it feel forced. After all, the best friendships are natural, and I want him to think that this is spontaneous. By the great builder, explodes my maybe friend, barely disguising about. That was a heavy course, and so soon after the last weighty one, it simply sits too heavily in the stomach. So I cannot believe that the servants expect to keep serving a master working this poorly. Here's their chance. 70% chance that I'll charm him utterly, and he becomes my friend. 22% chance says, you're fun, but not that fun. Yes, he's my friend. So therefore, he's out of the faction. Well, I'll try to sway him to get him out of there. See, you could prevent a vassal from joining a faction by making him your friend, lover, prisoner, or ally. You will also refrain from joining factions if they are terrified or if you have a strong hook on them. You should pay attention of, like, possible betrothals. Aha! This is the easiest way. Just to say, how'd you like to be betrothed to my son? I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So that way that'll end this stupid nonsense for good. I wish I had more children, but it's something that would be considered a last resort. That's why I feel like I break a betrothal. I know it's a bit late, but what started as an ordinary feast became an exceptional one thanks to the presence of Beg Bonya. We spoke all evening about all manner of subjects and things that we seem a lot in common. We had such a good time with him. What a good evening. What right does Mayor Polkut think that his claim my ideas of warfare are misguided? Claiming that my ideas would break down a moment of common is meant. What does he know really? I'd love a chance to sell us on the battlefield. At least Polkut showed me that I'm able to defend my understanding of the martial lifestyle, because I have that education. So, he loses opinion of me, but gain discussions on strategy for the next 5 years. So, discuss the strategies of experienced commanders prove fruitful for this character. So, maximum battle roll plus 5, and more faster army movement speed, which is the utmost important when it comes to leading an army to victory. And I gain 300 additional martial lifestyle. As the feast winds down to its inevitable conclusion, there's one event remaining that everyone's expecting, and that's Bag's toast to the guest of honor, me. It's a lovely moment, one that I've rather been looking forward to all evening. It comes and goes all too swiftly. It's nice to be appreciated. So now I'm highly esteemed, so got a lot more monthly prestige. 20+% of it. So, like it. Daylight pours through the windows in just one moment, and the whole hall becomes illuminated. Most of the seats are now empty. Some servants hand me my weapons and take their leave of a cherry bomb. What a pleasure it was to have you with us, by man smiles at me. What a feast! Before coming, I could have never imagined the exotic delicacies would sample in my time in his halls. This was a feast I'll never forget. But now I shall depart. Yeah, you're a little hard to please. Gave you a gift of entertainers. But the easiest thing in the world is just, oh, make up a troll, make that faction go away. Just we're about to set out, it starts snowing. I can't help but curse my poor luck, but it's seen the clouds coming in for a while. It doesn't seem to be let up anytime soon. If we want to make our journey on time, we have to set out. But riding through a snowstorm is risky at best. An opportunity to rest, I'd say. As we manage to get through a dangerous path and suddenly a strange feeling that someone missing bothers me. I don't remember seeing Blush all day. Just wondering. He was keeping the rear guard as we entered the war-torn province. I suppose it wasn't the best idea knowing his bravado. He's probably gunning for the front lines. Unless he's just lost somewhere in the hills. Go search party. We found him. You named a disease after me? Here comes Sati's pox. Oh, that's way over there. It's not going to come to culture. No way. It's minor. But you done name it after me. That's no good to no one. I ought to travel more often. Wait 16 days. Do we get his opinion increased? No. Why do I have the worst of luck? You know what, just do it. Betrothed. And that'll be the end of this faction. Tired of this nonsense. Thank you. And you're the new faction leader. So now it's 2 weeks sent them ultimatum, so we held them off. And thank you for reminding them the potential loot we see over there. It's high time to start a war now. Just take Varna, and then I'll be willing to create the title. This is just a county war, because this requires another war to get that. because these are two separate things. So therefore, we gotta do it one at a time. Do it! And I'm back to leading the army. And remember, we're still intervening in other people's wars. So this buys us time. Yeah, direct vassal captured. Yeah, you still have one of mine. Stop, stop. Okay, now away we go. Especially that you have faster army movement speed now. And a bit of that from our Kira Master, who is also my physician. Do have this still. Again, we shouldn't face any opposition. Just take the weak fort, take the capital, take the important people, and we'll win the war. Simple. It was a joy that I noticed Mayor Aslopachisi was so significant initiative to increase my prestige by spending his own resources to further my position. Certainly commendable attitude. Proper behavior on the part of Aslop. This is happening because Aslop has at least -9 opinion about your character. If the opinion is negative, the chance of getting this favorable event is reduced. Your minor vassal who spends gold to perform this action is only eligible to do so if he has a significant fortune. Thank you very much, and that makes me illustrious. Apparently one of the requirements for that is just to get the prestige up. And level devotion for this one. But don't forget about the other important thing about the Vamna. Manichean holy site. Seven months. We can do better. Do we still have, you? Acclaimed Knight. Though he doesn't like him that much, so be careful. Okay, we'll have you this position then. And in the meantime, I'll go confess, simply for the sake of it. It's just a tiny bit of prestige and piety gain. I mean, I have no negative traits of any kind. I just did that simply for the sake of it. If you want to become Paragon of Virtue. Okay. You already have 100 opinion, but he refused to get the thing. The work I've done in building up relations with the local Middle Eastern community have paid off. They have recently agreed to partner with me in a number of advantageous business deals. Through their networks on the Silk Road, we surely together earn a great profit. The silk must flow, and spices, slaves too. Horses, all trade goods, really. So, because of this, you're currently reinforced relations with the local Middle Eastern community. The quality of this gift is likely better than you had gotten from the other communities. So you got a major Silk Road business deal. So this characteristic concluded a business deal with the local community of foreign origin along the Silk Road. 0.80 tax on a month for the next 10 years. Pretty good. Uyghur Manichean nomads. Whatever they're doing up there, they ought to stop that. I step out of my tent and rub my eyes. The siege camp sprawls out before me. A cluster of ramshackle shelters surrounded by tumbled walls and sagging ramparts. A few banners flutter in the wind. Here and there, in tents and makeshift shelters, men huddled over fires, their faces smudged and gleaming with rain. My low retainer approaches and informs the siege is ended. I gather my bodyguards head to the edge of the camp. The Crusader of Bogali stands before me, a bonfire of flaming timber. Between here and there, bodies lay helter-skelter. Bodies and body parts litter the muddy streets. Grieving widows gather at the edge of the battlefield, tying slit bandanas to their noses against the stench of death, covering up faces of ash. I'm looking for direction. Go. Get to this next area. Much to your dissatisfaction, because I keep being disappointed because I never give you the benefit of the doubt, but only because I don't want you to ruin the development of the capital. The new capital. You know, it's pretty good, but oh yeah, he and I have issues because he's a warrior too. And he too is also being tired of being disappointed. And I once broke up with him. Okay. Well, we both lingered in bed in the early hours of the morning. Hiddecut Bone of Cultural whispered in my ear very bad things about one of my courtiers, Nandabala, who is one of my bodyguards. As he planted the seeds of hate, I became aware that his plan is to seductively plead that I sorry dismissed the courtier that unfortunately had occurred in his wrath. He had acknowledged this decision will carry political consequences. Among other factors, on my counselors who would not look kindly to me if I acceded to my spouse's arbitrary demands. I need to make a decision about this unforeseen challenge. I'll try to influence my spouse to drop the matter, so you and your spouse will act counter to each other. My intrigue and diplomacy will influence the outcome both positively and negatively. Also, the impact of the president, both of you, is traits of schemer and diplomat. Well, we are neither. He's a marshaled man, but he does not have much diplomacy nor intrigue. But I do have a lot of diplomacy, but still have poor intrigue. So I'll try to influence him to tell him to drop it. My attempt to persuade him about the political difficulties of getting rid of Nanavala was a complete success. In the end, he really agreed that he acted impulsively without knowing the full implications of such a decision. Glad you share my point of view, my darling. That's a hunt. High chieftain. Tributary, that's no, I don't go there. As I told, though, keeps pronouncing lines of love and desire. I try to keep from showing the rest of going how flattered I real. Though he is veiled behind metaphor and allegory, I know that it is dedication from Smata Azur Jemshid me. Jemshid the second. Oh, okay. You know how to get my attention, Azur Jemshid. You two-faced fiend. Just 3 more months and then we'll get what we want. We will have the objective and then we have to hold it. Or at least try to take another and find the enemy armies and defeat them. Particularly them over there. We gotta go face them. I mean, he leads the army over there, so we can't capture him here. We have to go out and get him. And for once, I'll let the men loot Vamna, but it has to be limited. Capture the daughter-in-law. Now we take it to the objective. I step out of my tent and watch my siege camp sprawls out before me. A crowded maze of canvas pavilions, pennants and pennons of every color wave stiffly back and forth in the persistent wind. Cut timbers laid stacked like a wall outside of tents. My lower tenant approaches and forms the siege ended. I gather my bodyguards head to the edge camp. The Kashara of Vamna stands for me. A murky bog, a field of corpses desecrating the land. In the fields between, the dead and dying lay scattered, abandoned to bugs and vultures. Bodies hang low from low timber walls as though they were put to dry. Apparently bodies of peasants who dared to turn on their lords in the midst of the siege. Grieving widows wail amid scattered stones, remnants of their homes. Okay, I'm gonna make you guys happy for once. We'll allow looting, but it'll be limited. This will hurt the development by 1, and then, look, you can drop down to 2, but the problem is the control level. And the recently looted thing will only be around for just about a year. So in a year's time, it'll be alright. So I get a bit of gold under that. This is just to please both of you, though it is unjust for me to do so. And imprison everyone you see. And we won here. So there you have it. That's because you captured your heir, that's why. So I declared this land mine. It is now referred to as Khotan. That is the Uyghur name of Khotan. And you, get out. And here's another act that I'll do. I'm increasing the crown authority, which now gives me the ability to revoke vassals. I could tell you to get out right now because I say so. We'll accept. Get the hell out of here. So now I control the lucrative jade mining settlement. And we declare this as the new capital. So the realm capital will be moved to Khotan. From culture to Khotan, the Egalitarian of Khotan. That's where we reside now. One day, if money allows, construction investments, really. Oh, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good reduction, and we're not quite that far from there, if you wish to save all that money. But unfortunately, there's some corruption around here. Okay, it's actually 5 years rather than 1 year. Now we just need to fight one more war in the future to take one more part of it. God, what do you want? Yes, it's recently looted, which does hurt the construction time. I mean, having that would be a huge boon for the land and the owner. Different faith, popular opinion, and all that. And since this is a new capital, it immediately converted to Manichean. So now this is a Manichean holy site, which now gives us all Manicheans the effect of different culture opinion plus 10. And I got a lot of foreign vassals around here, so they should look at me a bit more highly now. And meanwhile, give these lands away. As far as I'm concerned, these lands are yours. I no longer have use for them. But I'm still holding Donghuang. Because that place is dear to me. Interestingly, you can hold a Sade festival because the Vamna culture locally is of that culture pillar. You don't have to be, of that culture. Norm, Zoroastrian, and all that. So that's interesting. But now I'm traveling to Khotan. Break that damn habit. So I'm on my way to the capital now, bringing the entire court with me. For centuries, Khotan was the great center of Buddhist learning and culture in the Taberna Basin. With myriads of monasteries and temples, legend had it that the Buddha instructed several deities, the so-called 8 protectors, to stand guard over the city so long as its people stayed true to his teachings. However, one of the core teachings of Buddhism is the idea that all things are impermanent, and Khotan was no different. It is clear that the 8 protectors have abandoned the city. There are new rulers in Khotan now, particularly Idukutum Sati, whether a conqueror who swept into the Taberna Basin or a native who converted. She believes that the truth of the world lies in dualism, Manichaeism in particular. In a blink of an eye, the land and its people have transformed, and they've begun to accept, honor, and worship the Father of Greatness, not Buddha. Nonetheless, there are reports that some Khotanese still loyal to the ancestral faith, including a number of monastics, have fled elsewhere. A new age dawns on the region, perhaps. So, this is what happens. What has happened is I gained 100 additional piety. And the faith here is converted to Manichaeism immediately. While the Manichaeism's fervor increased by 5, and all the Buddhist faiths forever decreased by 5. So clearly the 8 protectors have abandoned Khotan. Thus, the 8 protectors' character modifier will no longer be granted to Buddhist rulers or the county of Khotan. For the next few decades, Buddhist refugees from Khotan, particularly monastics, may spawn in other nearby Buddhist realms if there are any. And whenever I want to, I could, convert to Buddhism whenever I want to, if it's a personal matter. But that kind of defeats the purpose of the series of being Manichean, right? It's just if you want to have the benefits of, say, the 8 protectors modifier, and as well as the ability to hold a procession of Buddhist images here in activity, and as well as a pilgrimage to the Buddhist statues of Bamyan. Which, surprisingly, they're still there. And Shah Bamyan, you've grown. Amazing. What made you turn to Buddhism? Or is it just you're stubbornly held, despite the Muslim conquests? But in the meantime, disband the army. Then we could start making some real fortune. And if I have another child, I'm going to need a betrothed to you too, so I can replace you with someone else. Manage the domain. Hit a quarter of a camp near Turpan. The shrieking uproar breaks the calm. My chancellor, Madan, confronts my guest, Khotan, accusingly, holding a treasured bracelet. You thieves! This was my mother's! Don exclaims, eyes blazing with anger. Khota vehemently denies again. You lying, huh? It has always belonged to me. They're rivals now. Oh, sir, we really do not have time for this. I just want to get to the new capital. Because once we have control of this place again, it's going to be very lucrative. Once this goes active in about a year's time. Independence faction disband. And we have to get ready for those Uyghur Manichean nomads who are going to be unruly. And now they split to Liberty faction and Independence. That I'm not terribly worried. Long after night has settled, I find myself laughing, telling stories drinking with Yasudara, Madan, and Sirin. I don't know she had dinner, but Yasudara ends up telling a particularly bold story about the 4 peasants she had seen in Khotan. After drying my eyes from the laughter and drinking a bit to clear my throat, I will tell a story of my own. Another son. Yes, named after my father, Pangtele. Idea. You want Dong Huang back. Well, I got a proposition for you. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you're one. And you can't join a faction even if you're a powerful vassal. So I'm going to fire you and put on this man to be the next one. It's not a powerful council, but I need him to increase the control here. So in 2 years' time, it'll be back to 100% control. Didn't realize who that was until now. So we're resting along the road in Chilek when a traveling Kushinia bard happened to pass by. He introduced himself as Skewaleliam. One of my guards offered the man a few coins in exchange for some entertainment. Then they sang through several songs in the local Ashikuchi dialect. And there was little doubt about his town. The melancholy songs touched our hearts deeply, and the joyful songs roused our spirits. Because of my Highlander, so I'll try to note down the songs I like. This character recently heard local folk songs he really liked. I made note that I could remember about these songs, even if it's not the same as hearing them in person. Do I know Ashikuchi? Yes. Ah, hell. Not again. While traversing a challenging path and notable, I hear laughter ahead. My Chansa, Madan, and my guest, all of them are working together across an unpredictable, spring-fed stream. Madan, your idea to build a makeshift bridge was brilliant, exclaims all of them. Replies the chocolate. Your quick thinking with those palm fronds tighter together saves Oscar led to a new friendship. We already crossed that little river there. But I'll say this will hasten our journey indeed. Because I want to get to the new capital as soon as possible. And yes, I am thinking about spending that money on that grand temple in Khotan. Which one would think, yeah, the era of Buddhism around here is over, but building a grand temple here that would be completed in 9 years' time would definitely represent that Manicheanism is here to stay. That's what it'll represent. Journey across the sands of Saka or Sacha, a caravan of laden camels crossed our path. The caravan master notices around 200 halts procession. Noble travelers, he calls over the shrewd gleam in his eye. Perhaps you fancy a glance at the treasures these sturdy beasts carry for a right price. The wonders of the desert could accompany you on your travels. Not particularly interested in a trinket right now, so I'll say no need. Perhaps you could travel together for a while. Just safer travel as we travel through this blasted desert. Parthian tactics, since we're more cavalry oriented, so this will do. And then hopefully next time, get envelopment. I know it's counter efficiency. And then I will, I want to get this, and then I will switch over to stewardship for domain focus. Yeah. Because it's your exalted warlord and you do have monthly stewardship lifestyle experience, every little bit helps. So much it'll be active and we'll be making a lot. Team of all manner of wildlife, Yasudar and I agreed that Carrier would be a splendid place to go on a hunt. While we don't have time to stay for a proper outing, as we traversed here, I spotted a pristine wild rabbit at the edge of the forest. It has clear markings on its fur, and I motioned Yasudar to survey the animal. As she spots the rabbit, she grins. What do you say to a friendly wager, Leech? Whoever strikes a pristine foe never wins. Sounds like a deal to me. 99% chance that my arrow will flawlessly pierce the heart of the rabbit. She'll pay me 40 gold, and I gain the lucky rabbit's paw. Rabbit in sight, both slowly but purposely move closer to the rabbit, taking aim for its tiny body as it gnashes away at a piece of straw. I pull my string and release. The arrow goes straight through the animal's body, into the animal's body. The sudden impact launches a few paces, then the tiny body slumps down on the ground, motionless. I roar in triumph, and Yosto joins me in my cheer. Nice shot, she cries as I dart forward to pick up the trophy. This was fun. One sec. Prowess +1 in a bit of prestige. A palm from one of the kind of pristine right. Down at a friendly hut of Yosdar in the Keria hunting grounds. In these drylands here. Can you treat him? Slow. Just shovel supplies around. We're almost there. Welcome to your new home. Thank the Father of Greatness. There's a bit of health boost for you. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, looketh here. You are very close. And, son of a... Okay, never mind on the Grand Temple. We're forming the Khanate now. First things first. Create the title. Crop rotation. We don't have that innovation. Unless you want to switch cultures to convert to the local Saka culture. And then you get that. But even then, I'm like, okay, I've already passed it, alright? Don't really care. Instead, we're going to do this. Cost you 500, and it'll leave us quite a bit. Oh. Now you hold 3 different kingdom titles, and this is the one. Rebuilding the Uyghur Khanate. You are the true master of the Uyghur Khanate. Let our and great renowned Khan's name spread throughout the world. So I'll gain 500 prestige for this in addition, after you spend 150. You gain the nickname Uyghur Khanate, which could mean greatest of Khans in the Turkic language. So I will gain the greatest of Khans fame trait. This is a lot. So this is +2 diplomacy, +2 martial, +1 stewardship, +4 prowess, +50 natural dread. Dread decay -50%. The vassal limit jumps up to 75. Army gold maintenance -20%. Same culture opinion +10. Enemy hostile scheme phase length 20 days slower per scheme phase. Initial enemy hostile scheme phase success chance of -25%. Herd gain and capacity is irrelevant to me as we're feudal. Legitimacy +5 a month. Those minority vassals within, they have a higher opinion of me now. +20. While our cavalry can do more progress in sieges, damage, and toughness. And massively increased obedience from the subjects, those nomadic vassals of mine. And we will have the empire title, the Uyghur Khanate. And it'll be my primary title. And in addition for our dynasty, we'll gain 500 renown and gain Uyghur Khan. Your family revitalized the Uyghur Khanate. It's +3 additional marshals, +50 in the raid speed if you're nomadic or tribal. Levy size +15%. Development growth in the realm capital 0.02 a month. And legitimacy gain +15. And you just barely have enough gold to make it happen. Let the Holy Khan be praised. The Uyghur dynasty is known far and wide. We are well known. And this is the color of the Uyghur Khanate. Guess that means the Uyghur Khanate in its native tongue. So, yeah. She is Khatun Sati. Yengu Katyan. So, this is what it means exactly. Tangredya Bosmish Itmish Bilga Katyan. I don't know if that's my best Turkic pronunciation for you Turkic speaking viewers out there. The wise Khan, endowed with the wisdom to to govern the country from heaven. That's who she is and what she is. So yeah, the natural debt will be going up as time passes. So she's accomplished it. So what should be Uyghur Khatun? Is that what the greatest of Khatuns? Is that what will be called officially? But nevertheless, the true ruler, the legitimacy level, will go up again with time. Yeah, we're gonna have to make some changes at this. Once the buildings are active. Yeah, once this is active, we're gonna definitely increase the thing. And do not forget, developable dynasty legacy. Diverse peoples and cultures. Additional plus 10 different culture opinion and opinion of different cultures. Increased chance of positive events after taking the decision to reinforce relations with Silk Road communities. So that'll do well for us. The decision to patronize the Mogao Cave is cheaper, and the decision to patronize the Mogao Cave can be taken as long as you hold territory in the Taran Basin, no matter your heritage. Which, again, relevant if you're Buddhist. You can now possibly gain the Silk Road Merchant trait when using the Silk Road Merchant's travel option, even without any experience in getting successful deals. So now we're the new masters of the Silk Road. And in future, if I were to choose, like I'm thinking law and all that. Like, to me, this would make the most sense. The future. I'm sure these vassals would want those kingdom titles right now. I mean, yeah, it's part of Tehran, and this is a customizable empire title that you just created, which consists, you know, all of these, except for this one, obviously. But you get the idea. I'm sure there are somebody that says, I desire the title. Or how about you? I guess nobody does mind. But now your priority is to stop those nomads. Because where are they rising up from? Over there. That's steppe territory. Since now we are further away from here, now it takes much longer to get all the levies en masse. No, they stopped. Never mind. But we're making quite a bit of fortune. And we'll make even more in 6 months' time. Ah, damn it. Don't have crop rotation. That's the one. Is that a newfangled disease? No, it's been around for a while. All the factions are disbanded because I done created a. Today I'm observing Count Carriade as he trains some of his new recruits, but under his command they resemble a disorganized mob more than an army. I look on as he struggles to gain control of the situation, clearly pushed to his limits. While it's never easy to train new soldiers, he seriously needs to do better than this. Teach her what I know about command. Need a 100 martial lifestyle for this. As I tap it on his shoulder, he throws up his hand and shouts, "This is not my fault, Sati. These idiotic peasants don't know their right hand from their left. How can anyone be expected to turn this rabble to an army?" I'm disappointed in him, and also I just noticed as I turn to my right towards my window, it's raining outside during this recording, so let me give that a look. As I will go to my phone, check the local radar. Where's that rain coming from? Not really of concern, it's just a pop-up. But anyways, 3 months. Just waiting for it to pile up. Especially when we get further control for even more. Down in Chopper. Sorry. Yet again, I'm invited by Beg Bonyak to enjoy a tempting sex party in his secluded villa. The venue looks promising with some dozen participants, dressed or undressed, to suit their taste and allure. And the knowledge there's always a risk of getting denounced. I must decide if I'll follow my dark instincts or not. At this point in my life, more children would be sufficed. Indeed I will. I'll do that. I know you're not a powerful vassal, but if somebody wants this position, you'll get it. Even though they're not very good at it. Despite our differences, sure, we can. Oh, he'll get over the breakup the first time around after a mistake. Thinking about seducing my husband. Two months, 1 month. Next September, this coming September, here comes the money. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here comes the money. Look at the tax income above. It was 11.2. Hunt. And now it's 10.8. Because we had a breakaway. Uh-oh, we're isolated. Oh, we better fix that immediately. We need to reconnect Khotan to the rest. Especially you down there. One day I'll fight a war against you again. So in other words, uh-oh, we're in trouble. Because we're not connected to there. And, yep, we're in trouble again. Unless you wish to vassalize. Because I'm your damn overlord, not the rightful liege. It was likely an oversight by one of the vassals, who has since passed. Look at here. Down over there, for example. Granted, inherited. Yeah, that was a bit of an oversight on my part. there's time for it. Which we're gonna have to correct that. Come on, activate it. Building currently disabled will... Okay, another month then. Now it's active. And you can only upgrade it if you've got to keep building in Neuralism for the culture. That's in the early medieval era. Medieval. So now we're isolated. We better correct that sooner than later. Because this needs to be reconnected back, or otherwise every single thing that's dependent on will be for naught. But I'm all for people paying tribute to me again. Yes, I know it's reduced it to being above domain limit. We gotta fix that at some point. Whoa! Something that just exploded outside. Let me stop recording in just a second. Okay, what happened out there, outside, was that a transformer exploded. It did not cause a power outage in my house, but it did cause a power outage to my neighbor across the street, one of the neighbors across the street, and we're doing fine here, so lightning didn't do it, so I don't know why it just exploded, but it did. So, recording will continue as you see here. So, yeah, that happened. So, we gotta connect this land back and unscrew the situation, as the saying goes. I mean, they're ready for war. You have an unpressed claim against us. Not in this new Khanate, it ain't. Play it safe and put it over in Audible. And then we could start besieging here and here. But I think they'll probably go straight for Khotan, so I think you should put it a little closer. In case we have to fight a defensive battle here. But we'll start in the next year. I mean, we're not making a lot of money right now, but give it time. Oh yes, the ransom. Yeah, trade post is blocked because of this here. What the hell? You guys want to migrate to here? I got no time for that. How much would I lose? Wait, yeah, he'll migrate to there. Wait, yeah, it may take a hit in legitimacy. And the migration displaces the vassal. If you wish to pay tribute, have at it. But we'll come back to get you. And I want you to keep in mind, They do have allies from other places. One neighboring entity. And you're probably going to need an ally of your own, like Gamdo. Try one of the stronger ones, yes. But is currently at war. What about them? They're not at war at the moment, so that'll definitely be a big get. Even though my child is sickly, but would you like to betrothed? So we'll have alliance, and then we'll be sweet. Okay, let's get started. We need to reconnect those lands back, unless you want to have a forced vassalization, which I don't think it'll do, because that's how we kind of screwed ourselves in the first place. You've already used it. This is for Khotan. Just to have this strip of land connected to us again. And then we have to fight a war against them, and then them again for that. Because I don't trust myself. That's why I bring an alliance in. And will not take long to get men at arms over here. But I need more levies. Do you forget who you obey to? Some other capital. You don't have any, but you do have mountaineers. Disease continues to spread. So we'll continue the gathering. Okay, it's going that way now. It's all fort level 3, so these will take time. But if we ever get it in ourselves to defensive battles... Oh, look at that. They do have siege weapons. But the Raj over there, he could be dealt with. I could definitely take him on in battle. Be it here in the drylands or out in the mountains. I can do all. Okay, I think that's good enough amount of levies that will be provided with. Stop gathering in June. Defeat these enemy forces first. Because we know that combat in the Tara Basin is unique. Where you can't flank around much. Except these mountain passes. And plus my army moves faster. Because I could bring these big body of troops to bear. But don't take too long, we need to take down Uyghur and Chechen. We'll face them out there, we need to destroy their army. Then we'll begin offensive operations there. God damn it. That was the opposite of what you give me. advantage goes to me. Capture the vassal. So we won that battle, so now we gotta take down Danode. Gain the rest of their trait. As I led the charge in battle and displayed remarkable prowess. Hey, don't you remember you're crossing typhus territory? You're gonna get some of your men sick, and myself included if I'm not careful. Get out of there. Oh, he died in captivity and had typhus while he was fighting there. Well, I didn't catch it, so haha. You got someone who's dull-minded. Similar names. In a few years' time, those holy taxes will definitely go up. Oh, that we were able to get rid of some of the corruption here. So things will be looking up fairly soon. Oh yeah, look at that. Don't forget, not only my extremely high martial and my men-at-arms, they do well in the daily progress of siege now. Because of the greatest of concentrate. Unless you want to say greatest of Khatuns, so we can take this place easily. So this makes offensive wars much, much easier. Even without the need of siege weapons. That's one. A crowded clutter of canvas, the campfires, armor, and soldiers. A few banners flutter in the wind. Figures hunch over campfires, tossing on wood or brushing sheepskins clean. My low retainer approaches forms the siege center. Guided by bodyguards, head to come. The Dama of Dondai Oilik stands for me. A canyon of shattered walls and the fields between. A red and yellow sea of roaring flames rises high into the air. Stray dogs pick the enemy's corpses clean. Grieving widows search the rubble for charred remains of their dead husbands, while shrieking children clamber over the remains of their parents' battered houses. Wounded men drag themselves towards safety, screaming only to collapse on the ground. Piles of corpses everywhere, of soldiers, civilians, and animals, ripped limb from limb by sword and arrow. Law limited looting here. Continue. To Caria. We'll be assisted by them. My court poet, Concholet, has proven himself to be highly capable, especially in matters of diplomatic nature. There are some projects I would like to undertake in the Hun of Danghuang, my liege, with your blessing, of course. Take the reins. Less than 2 months. In the late hours of the evening, while I was taking air from the invigorating northern winds, my spymaster silently approached me with a sly smile on her face. It seems that Yapka Kote of Crow Run would like to introduce me to someone I know she knows very well and has a high opinion about. The person's name is Agde, and has a reputation as a very sound commander. Upon my questioning, it seems he learned his ropes as a mercenary captain and never had a chance to serve under a proper noble banner. My spy master might be willing to place a friend in a powerful position inside my court or even my council, but I know how hard it might be to find proper commanders these days. Craven. Well, makes him less likely to get killed in battle, but I'll say no to that. So that's good to know that I can do sieges much faster. Without the need of siege engineers and all that. 90% need to take a jet next. Step on our tent, so a bristling mass of humanity sheltering beneath the hundreds of siege tents perched on a grassy rise. A stick of wood smoke rises in layers on the cookie fires. Flags flutter in the stiff northwestern breeze. The cutters stalk at right against the sky. Figures hunch over campfires, tossing on wood or brushing sheepskins clean. My loyal retainer approaches and forces the siege ending. I gather my bodyguards head to the edge of camp. The Dama of Keria stands before me. A rustling heap of battle-torn horsemen in steel. In the fields between, corpses rot in the grass and vultures wheel and screech. Stray dogs pick the enemy's corpses clean. Survivors huddle, speechless and panic-stricken, around any fire, just as a frightened fox runs to his hiding place. The acrid odor of burnt flesh and thatch, blended with the coppery flavor of blood-caked dust, clings to the air. Limited looting again. Takes years for them to get over of not giving them loot. We're on our way fast. We need more cavalry, men at arms, or at least increase the size of, not another regiment. I'll consider it. Especially that we have the financial support for it. As, you know, it doesn't cost as much to increase the size nowadays, thanks to my very high martial skill. Two months. Good. Remember, for future reference, spend your money on increasing the size of our men-at-arms, in addition of the court grandeur increase. My faithful steward, Yapka Yapka Vagne, presented me with recently an elaborate and sound plan to improve the taxation of my domain. And in knowledge, it will be costing me something up front. I must decide whether I implement the plan, whether I can risk improving upon it by delving the matter myself, but risking the start of gold, or whether to take advantage of it. Studying this masterpiece will help improve my stewardship. I'd like to study it. So, the possible penalties and the stress given by the traits represent the forfeit of the two previous choices of this event. If your character attained learning education, which I don't, engaging in theoretical studies would be very welcome. So it did increase my stewardship, but not the domain line. Our scouts report that there is no imminent risk of an enemy attack tonight. As I watch my soldiers, fatigued from the day's march, set up yet another camp, I cannot help but wonder if tonight's respite is our last. My last. If battle is joined tomorrow, might I not be slain? And what of starvation, exposure, disease, accidents? Life is never as fragile as during wartime. If today were to prove my last day, how should I spend the evening? Deep in prayer. Alright, let's take this area and then we'll do something. Oh no. He was too. And Stewart just died of old age. I'll appoint a new one in just a moment. A maze of rough-hewn tents and canvases, lean-tos and makeshift fences, coils of rope and canvas, mattresses and tents, all strewn over the ground in a relative even sprawling flat. A few banners flutter in the wind. Cut timbers laid stacked like a wall outside of the tents. A low retainer approaches the forms of teachers saying, I got my bodyguard said there's camp. A Dama of Church Inn stands before me, smoldering butchery. In the fields between, empty carts and toppled carriages are mired in mud, the axes splintered. The horses are nowhere to be seen. Smoke rises from a burned hovel. Windmills that once stood in an open field have been stripped of their sails. Their spindly timbers rammed into the ground like bone claws. Smoke coils from the blackened stone buildings, with windows shattered, walls pitted and scorched. Shallow craters dot the trampled fields between. Grieving widows wail and clutch each other. That'll be the last time you do this sort of thing. And imprison everyone you see. So at least this war ends quicker than expected. So we should utilize our full might of the cavalry for next time. So you're a vassal with no relations to your previous liege. '71, and the land could go back to it. And if I want to, I can get rid of you. Well, the problem with that is, it's unjust. The only way to make it just is to have a claim to this land. But to do that, well, that's going to take some time. To try to fabricate the claim for 10 years! Claiming a vast county is one thing, and your learning is another. Okay, we can get another one. 7 damn years. Get someone of, Walnut culture. You will also hold down really. Once this goes away, then we can make some real fortune. Why, there's a court event here. In the saddle. The talents of my impeccable master horse, Kagan Bonek, my husband, are widely agreed to be invaluable. The training precision of the horses come on leaps and bounds. He has a natural ability to keep both the animals and their captors in check. Today he approached me on my throne and asked me to, my Khatun, should I draw up a proper stabling guidelines, or focus on training? Oh yeah. I like that. Script all you can on the horses for the next 10 years. Cavalry maintenance reduced. Alright, let's turn them up. This'll do. Let's do a month. And in addition, increase the size of our cavalry. All the way. I want more light horsemen. The more horses we have, faster our sieges will be in offensive operations. Because I'm going to be looking at you. Because we will take this next time. And you know, it just keeps getting better and better. And despite what you all think of me, we'll let the offensive war opinion go down a bit. But we'll keep an eye on all of you. Some of those issues is actually due to distance than anything else. But unfortunately, we don't have much in the way of good stewards. And okay. Reassign. You know what? You can have this position. Just to please you. So while we rest from the offensive operations for a while, any threats of factionalism is just not going to do around here. Yeah, we still have a truce with them. And when does that truce expire? In 2 years' time. Perfect. We can handle 2 years. So now the good news is we're back to being connected for the rest of the motherland. But as for you up there, well, offering a vassalage will not do. And you're in a wrong government type, buddy. Then there's 2 nearby holy sites, Taberna and Samarkand. If we were to expand beyond the Tarn Basin, ideally Transoxiana would be it. Because I'd rather go through Fergana and into Sogdiana, especially Samarkand. Samarkand is important due to that special building there. It's also the residence of the Archegos. Karwan's Dokkan. He doesn't have that much gold, unfortunately. At least this does have a temple holding here. So more money to be made for you and tax it to there. So we got it. So just take a break from any offensive wars for the time being. And even though it's still rather dangerous to have only one child left, so I think I should focus more on the love life of the character. Try to have more children. And then also in 2 years' time, be focusing more towards stewardship. So there'll be plenty of things and plenty of activities for me to do. And among other things. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to what I can do here. I don't think I've done a pilgrimage with this character. No, you have not. Neither of you done much in the way of hunting either. So your priority should be try to attempt to have a few more children before I'm no longer of childbearing age. So there you have, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest of Khatuns, Uyghur Khanate Sati, which is just give it a big Khotan part with Khatun. You're mixing Turkic languages still. So we hope you people have enjoyed this episode, as this is a new nation with a bit of a little error, which those errors will be corrected sooner rather than later. So we'll see you in the next episode. But until then, so long for now.